this game from the Faction Showdown Tournament between me, Cruz, and Tiger T20. Now I am playing Dead Nations here, and Tiger, she is playing Greenskins. So it's gonna be a very wide swarm on swarm kind of showdown, because both factions really can lean into having a lot of units, and that's what we've been doing, both of us here. She is running a 7-unit list with a bolt thrower. I am running a 7-unit list with archers, because I thought having the skeleton archers be able to join in on fights sounds like it's worth the sacrifice of not running a catapult. So let's see. Will I be able to use my on-battlefield numerical advantage to win the game? Or will her superior quality of troops win her the day? Because Greenskins have skill 3, and my troops, or at least the undead ones, have skill 2. Now, looking at the deploy here, we can see I deployed in a manner where I wanted to shield my units from her bolt thrower. I succeeded in that. She also deployed it a bit far out to the right, giving me a lot of safe cover behind the trees, etc. So I'm quite happy at this point. So we're moving back and forth. You can see me trying to stay out of combat range here, not wanting to get tied down far outside of the objective on the right there. Now, looking at this game state, what I'm seeing here is that I have a lot of attacks on the right side with those spearmen and those archers. The middle, well, we got some units facing off against each other here, but I see a slight mobility advantage for me on the left side. So that's what I'm going to be playing around. I also have the only flying units in the game with the bats, and bats are an amazing unit. Should not be underestimated how far they can fly around, get around, and how many charges they can block and lines they can get into. So they're going to be a bit of a joker unit here. Now, Tiger has last move. She seems to be saving it for either the bolt thrower to keep me from just flying over with the bats and taking out the bolt thrower, or for her chariot. So I decided to move my bats to the center, thinking they're going to be safe from the bolt thrower there, and it looks pretty safe, since then she shoots and picks up one skeleton with the bolt thrower. Goblin bolt throwers notoriously luck-based. At the end, position myself, basically preparing for the next round, I guess you can say that I'm doing. And then you can see here that I messed up a bit. I put those bats a bit far to the left and opened up a flank. Now, on the bright side, they're not so close to an edge that I can't flee, but on the downside, if they flee, they're gonna end up fleeing most probably straight into the bolt through over there. So at this point, I am not the happiest necromancer out there, because I just threw away my bonus units, basically. At least that's what it feels like. But while both sides have 7 units here, I have chosen to go for a list with 7 fighting units. She has 6 fighting units and the bolt thrower. Alright, I do end up getting last move, and Tiger exploits that by locking my spearman in position right away with her giant. So I could have just moved them a bit further up anyways. Whereas, clearly, I should have kept him a bit further back so that the giant couldn't do that to me, basically. But it's something you have to remember to do. And also, well seen by Tiger to spot that opportunity to lock me down. Alright, so on the plus side, the bats running off did basically give away control of the left flank to me over on because her flanking unit, the chariot, is now all the way over in the corner. Tiger picks up a bat. Oh yeah, my bats failed their discipline test, didn't they? Even worse. You see me making a micro adjustment here, doing what I can to avoid exposing a flank to the goblins that have yet to move in the center. And wondering where I should race instead, I decided to race instead for the swordsmen because they are my hammer unit. They're the ones who are supposed to come in there and deal the damage. Now we can see I decide to position my swordsman in the forest here slightly. Tiger immediately spots that this is a terrible move by me and puts her spider ready to fly into the flank of my skeleton swordsman. So at this point I have done two pretty basic mistakes already and I am not very happy. She also webs the spearman, but it doesn't really matter. So, can I find some clever way of getting back in here? I'm thinking maybe I can find the angle to sort of side charge the goblin mob there. Maybe I can sneak through between the chariot and get the angle right there. It's not a certain thing, but I'm thinking, why not try it? And I'm also thinking, I'm also stacking up my zombie giant because there's going to be a lot of charges here, and I'm hoping to get lucky. If my wolves do go through, I want to side charge the chariot with the giant. Tiger starts with the side flank on the warriors. I'm not able to side charge the mob. The mob gets to side charge my spears. This is a complete disaster. And I send my wolves in onto the orc chariot, which he decides to flee. And at this moment, it's looking pretty grim. Not gonna lie. Alright. So, I still have 2 mobile units left. And I get lucky. The orc chariot fails its rally. Not that that's uncommon. Orcs are notoriously hard to rally in this game. And Primal Fury on the orcs. I move my zombies closer to the orc mob, hoping to put them in a position where I can intercept any charges on the wolves. I really want those wolves to stay alive. My bats do rally, that's good for me. Hopefully the bolt thrower doesn't annihilate them both. Does a one hit. Now you can see I'm trying to move these archers in a way where they can try to hopefully get into the flank of the units that are flanking my spearmen. So, while it's looking grim, I haven't given up yet. Here I am very happy that the tiger didn't just keep the giant there and charge into my swordsman. Instead she sends it towards the center. I lose 3. But that is a rough fight for the skeletons though, against the spider. 8 hits against the orcs. Primal Fury getting cancelled by the stench of the zombie giant. And then the zombie giant just rolls all saves. And the orcs run away. Meanwhile, the goblins get 9 hits, kill 8 spearmen, which is very painful. Luckily, skeletons don't run, and the crumble is small, so it's not a complete disaster. It's pretty close to a complete disaster. I have first charge. I send my charge into the goblin mob. Tiger's thinking of it before charging back. Now, it was a bit of a gamble of me to send the zombies in, because maybe she decided not to charge back onto the zombies, because I really wanted to move those bats. And in the end, I am able to move the bats onto the objective, but not into cover. So, the odds of it surviving, not high enough, especially not with those defense rolls. Alright. Currently, it's not looking that bad. Greenskin discipline causing them to run away and not come back. Here I'm hexing the spider, hoping that will make her tiger Primal Fury the spider. That's the one reason I'm doing it there. Because I do not want Tiger to chew through and destroy Spearman. Let's see what she does. Also trying to position myself so the giant can't side charge the archers. More failed rolls. Tiger just cannot stop rolling high. Move the giant forward, putting it so it can flank into the goblin mob. Tiger Primal Furying on the goblin mob, fighting my necromancer. I'm just moving my wolves back now, trying to open up for a back charge against the goblin mob fighting the necromancer. And hopefully not getting caught up in a wolf against giant fight here, because that would be a waste of my best attacking units. Spider devours the skeleton swordsman and only takes a few wounds back. At least it took a few wounds back, I guess that's worth it. Primal Furied goblins getting 11 hits, that's actually pretty low. And they kill every single skeleton and more. And the necromancer runs. Not a good feeling. Oof. Mom shrugs off the zombies like they're nothing and do 9. Oh, it is painful to play Dead Nation sometimes. Hopefully, I'm able to get something done. I get the zombie into the giant charge, saving my poor wolves. Now I have a back charge against the goblin mob on the right, but I choose to go on the goblin on the left, hoping that the wolves will win this combat and hopefully the mob will run away. But that of course leaves the skeleton archers in a fair 10-on-10 fight against the goblins, who will be hitting harder and better. 2 hit points left on the necromancer, but maybe one gets lucky. Necromancer does rally, and the goblins outperform, and the poor necromancer goes down hard. And now you're starting to run out of points here as the undead player. Losing the necromancer is very expensive. And there goes the last swordsman, and things are really starting to fall apart here. Alright, 2 goblins go down, that's quite lucky. 2 finish off the zombies, but the wolves do a good job, and the goblins run 3 or lower. I would have been very upset if they held that. Stench coming in strong there. Zombie wins against a giant, and the giant actually runs fearless, running on a 9. That is very likely, actually. Goblins mopping up against the skeletons. They do. Big 3 crumble as well. Alright. Giant is in range of the zombie, luckily. Wolves have range to go in on the goblins. This a unit of wolves and a zombie giant. That's 130 points left on the field, because I'm pretty sure. Oh, giant fails again. That is what, like a 10% chance or so that it fails twice in a row? Maybe even less. So, turn 6. The only way I see to winning here, because I'm assuming this fight goes down, is if I somehow get lucky and kill the spider quickly. No, giant can't charge those goblins because the forest blocks the view. Giant does 2 wounds to the spider. It's a lot of points in that spider in Shaman. And the spider holds. Fortunate for me. Maybe it is fortunate. Fire wolves, okay. So in order to win here now, I guess I need to face charge the orcs and get them off the field, but that is not a charge you, and I can't even charge them. Right, so it's a back charge there. And that fight between the zombie giant and the spider. So the only way to take this win now is that the spider has to die and the giant has to run. Let's see. There is 40 points there, 70 points there, 110 points. It's gonna be real tight. Spider takes 1, or does 1. Giant does 1 hit and gets the wound. It's not gonna die. The chunky boy. Do the goblins run? 5 wolves should easily do that, right? 4 go down. Final round. They cannot hold. And I win. I win completely undeservedly because that giant ran and it was 100 points. And with 100 points more, Tiger would have had the win. And the odds of that running was 1 in 50, I think. Hope you guys enjoyed this cast, and see you in the next one.